There we go. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and MBs, and welcome to what is actually the start of my long weekend. I finish work now until next Monday. Thank God. I hope you're all doing alright anyways, and we're going to be continuing on with our Final Fantasy VII, a casual playthrough here. Before we get started though, there's some stuff I do want to discuss. Firstly, I just want to let you know about what I'm doing with the party. I brought Barrett back in. We actually got a weapon for him in the Shinra Mansion called the Enemy Launcher, which unfortunately, contrary to the name, does not actually physically pick up and launch enemies like Wonder Green's gun in Wonderful 101. I really wish that was the case, but sadly that isn't. So I've equipped that on him. I figured I'd give him some time in the party. I've done a little bit of grinding to try and bring his level up a little bit more, but I've not otherwise got that far. And yeah, that was an insect flying around my face as well, so that's going to be a constant distraction throughout this stream, I'm sure. But yeah, this is only going to be a relatively short stream because Rocket Town itself is not that long. One other thing I want to note though is I discussed previously about the idea of how like the enemy skills I had were making the game a little too easy. And there's a truth to that. Like, if you get to this point in the game and you've already got Big Guard, Aqua Lung, Beta, White Wind, etc., like, the game is not difficult at this point. The bosses are just not all that tough. Watch now as I get my butt kicked by this random encounter. Anyway, the point being though is that it's kind of strange how the game rewards you for going out of your way to get all these enemy skills when they're not, strictly speaking, necessary for beating the challenges here. That's quite dangerous, actually. Anyway, we're not showing off time yet, so we'll show it off now. But yeah, like, it gets to the point where it kind of takes all the challenge out, which is a bit of a shame. So, to do something a little different this time around, I'm actually going to take all of my enemy skill materia out for Rocket Town and just stick strictly to using regular materia. So I've done a bit of menuing to get that all sorted. I'm just not going to bore you all to death with showing that off. And I'm essentially showing you like how it would work normally, if you weren't like, you know, really into getting enemy skills and such. We've also left the buggy behind, like that's now pretty much gone for the rest of the game, which is unusual, but you know. When I say unusual, I mean to say is like it's just a bit weird that you won't really get it back, but you don't even realise it at this point. That's Cloud's new counter materia, by the way, working out really nicely in conjunction with the cover materia. He took the blow with Vincent and then actually hit back and did a decent amount of damage. So yeah. The other thing I want to talk about that I really didn't get the chance to last time, or when I say I didn't get a chance to, I actually mean I completely forgot, was the idea about how this game is designed and how I wish it, you know, modern RPGs kind of went back to the old way of doing that. Which is the idea of structured side content at various steps of the game. Like, my primary like comparison point here is when I played Dragon Age Inquisition of all things, and the thing that got me about that game was that there was this like long-running temple that you could build up to in the game. Like, you had to collect like a number of things as rooms scattered across the entire world, and getting a hold of them like was a substantial amount of effort. So I did that. I got to that temple, I unlocked it, and the boss in it was just, I think, a random, like, demon that had no, like, real build-up, and the loot wasn't even, like, lore appropriate for what was there. It sucks, basically. It really did suck. But, like, places like the Shinra Mansion, like, we've seen that before. You know, it's a known quantity. You go back there, and you've got, like, you know, all the good loot in it, like Barrett's weapon here, the enemy launch, which in its own right is really, really good. Vincent as a reward, you know, that's great in of itself. The Odin materia, I could go on. But I like the idea of like places in lore that are built up to ahead of time, you know, like with the Shinra Mansion, that are still completely optional, but do have like worthwhile rewards in there that are set and aren't like randomized. The randomizer, as I say, in that temple in Dragon Age Inquisition was shite. It wasn't even any better than the stuff I already actually had, which sucked. So, more game design of that kind, in my opinion, where you get places like the Shin Mansion, and where we'll be getting to in the future stream, which I've also, funnily enough, queued up Barrett's Limit Break for, because we'll need it for that, with Wutai specifically. Anyway. You know, I love the layout of Rocket Town, because I just can't help but think, like, if I were building, like, a town around here, I'd build it all on the opposite side of where the rocket was leaning towards. You know? Anyway, let's go check out what we've got here in terms of item spy. We've got a ton of money. So the shotgun's an upgrade for Vincent, but I'm going to skip that for him for a couple of reasons. First of which is that the sniper CR he actually has far better accuracy, which means we'll get more damage output with Death Blow. Oh, to answer your question, Rumpelcloud, we are now in Rocket Town. We made it on Mount Nebel, so we're on the final town of this continent. But yeah, the shotgun, like, you know, nice as it otherwise might be, it's only a minor upgrade, really, in terms of raw damage, and it won't be better, like, when compared with how Death Blow's use of it. So, yeah. Anyway, we'll leave the gun show here behind, and let's go visit the inn. So there's a couple of bits of loot to pick up around here and there, if I remember correctly. I don't know what you're into, mate. The captain. Well, guess that answers that. And it wouldn't be a Final Fantasy game if there wasn't someone, you know, Oh, hey, Cash Cabal. Are you talking about stuff like, for example, how you can teleport from, you know, meeting Yuffie to the very end of the game if you play it around properly? But yeah, it wouldn't be a Final Fantasy VII, like, you know, pub if there wasn't actually, you know... if there wasn't some dude stuck on the toilet. No digest this time around, though. I'm not going all the way back to Wall Market to pick up another one of those. Anyway, there's nothing much up here from my memory, so we will just leave it be and head back downstairs. I healed up while I was outside of town, actually, so I don't need to do that again. We'll check out all the houses, though. Maybe, to answer your point there, Cash, maybe I'll finally get the chance to play around with Knights of the Round. Ooh, that sounds ridiculous. Like, I mean, I can imagine you breaking the game, like, really hard with that. If you're talking about glitches, though, I actually owned a Game Shark when I was much younger, and that did come preloaded with cheats for Final Fantasy VII. So, I remember things like how you could get Sephiroth in your party permanently, you could bring Aeris back to life. I mean, spoilers, sorry. Some neat stuff like that. You can even get, like, all the master materia from, like, the start. Okay, we got a power source, that's all good. Although, amusingly, this version of the game also does indeed come with with character enhancers, like you have cloud saves, you know, enabled, which is, well, a fair play, but I don't think it's strictly necessary to beat the game in its normal form, like, especially, even if you don't, like, you know, get big use out of enemy skills like I've been doing. No, it was there was nothing else about the story. It was just literally a cheat code. I've seen some glitches on speedruns actually, like for example when you go through the Cave of the G, or the Guy, or whatever you want to call them, and you can skip the spider boss, or the mini bosses, by doing an encounter on the same frame, I think it was, or possibly some menuing, I can't quite recall. But yeah, there's plenty of glitches to be had in this game, which are quite nuts. The ones, for example, where you can pilot Cloud off screen when he's invisible and not even meant to be in the scene, to skip to another one while the cutscene's playing, that's certainly interesting in its own right. So we've got barrier now. I'm not going to use that because it's not actually necessary for the boss fight that we've got coming up, which is all magic. It'd be nice if we had M barrier, but we don't. Alright, so we're all cleared out on that front. Let's go nip into this house over here. Oh. So it's a double the growth weapon for Barra there, but it's not as good as his enemy launcher, and I'm not in any real rush to start leveling stuff up. I mean, we're already at level 2 for all of our materia, and we're not even, like, out of the first continent yet. Never mind the first disc, so it's not the end of the world. Anyway, what's out the back here, I wonder? In fact, no, before we go there, because that'll advance the plot, let's move on out here and instead go up to the rock itself and take a better look at it. Well, some of the stuff that we've discussed here, Grumpcloud, I think was you required a Game Shark for it, essentially, so that's the first thing. The second thing is, like, the glitches in question you would never encounter in a casual playthrough. They don't happen, like, as a bug. They happen by very, very deliberate manipulation. You have to know exactly what you're doing to trigger them. Yeah, there's like a, I think an 8-hour speedrun of this game, if I recall correctly, and I think it might have been Summer Games, Summer Quake 2017. Shouts to the guys who did that, by the way. They did such a fantastic job of explaining the game and the story simultaneously. It was a damn good run, that. But yeah, they go into a lot of details about various manipulations that they use to make the game happen in 8 hours, which is insane. Just to put in context, like, doing this semi-casually I've been doing now, we're about 15 hours at this point. That's so random, Cash. Like, crashing Chocobo races on Windows NT specifically. I don't even know what to say to that, but anyway. Cloud, of course, serious badass he is, recognizes, you know, this pink helicopter's pretty cool. I like how this lady comes down and says, "May I help you?" in the same way that I would be approached if I was, like, struggling to decide what to buy at a convenience store. See? Just browsing. We're just browsing. Yeah, I think Vince's backstory is probably best, you know... Considering Rufus, like, arrived in Costa del Sol in a helicopter, I'm surprised it's taken him this long to get here, or that he even actually, as we'll learn, needs the tiny Bronco. Yeah, that's right, Grunkcloud. That's the Lucky Sevens trick, which I've seen used to actually completely wreck Emerald Weapon of all enemies. But just to say ahead of time, I'm not going to bother trying to fight Emerald Weapon in this playthrough when we get to the very end of the game, because that just takes way more time and effort than I'm willing to invest in it. I'm not sure what happens when you fight him, though, and just how badly it can go. Really? Wow, that's cool. Well, good for the speedrunners then, you know. I guess they were planning ahead for when they started streaming. Anyway, let's talk to this chap. Ah, Sid's theme. I love the fact that, like, I've never really seen these images in high res. Like, I've only ever played this game on a PS1 and a Vita. So I don't even recall knowing the example that Sid had a packet of cigarettes taped to his head. Sid, of course, being a recurring name throughout a lot of Final Fantasy games from what I recall. Including, of all things, in Lost Odyssey, there was a character named Sid Nat who fills, from my memory, a similar kind of role as Sid here. And if there's one thing that Sid likes, is his ego being stroked about his giant rocket. Sorry. The funny thing is, what Sid is talking about here is the War of Wutai, and it's actually true to real life that, you know, the space race was a product of the Cold War. If that Cold War hadn't happened, it's not like... I don't think we would have ever actually even gone to the moon. Or hell, maybe not even put a person in space until much later in our timeline. Funnily enough, there's some really interesting, like, hard sci-fi novels I've read, one of which I think was Voyage by Stephen Baxter, about an alternate timeline where, when Kennedy was failed to be assassinated, in this alternate fictional timeline, we end up going to Mars as a result, because he pushed the space program up. And it makes sense as well, like, Sid being a pilot, like, a lot of astronauts, like, in that era, in the 60s, were originally pilots. As in fighter jet pilots, specifically. Oh, Sid, dry your eyes. Hopefully you get out of here before it falls over, Sid, just so it doesn't, like, you know, kill you or crush your house. Okay, nice story, bye. Well, no, of course. Well, perfect. Fast. Let's see if we can go back into Task Games. We need to ask him about the tiny Bronco. Alright, there we go. He's better now. Oh, Sid. Like, there are many reasons why you shouldn't vote for Rufus, but keeping it superficial like that is probably, like, a really bad idea. Anyway. Sid, as we'll also learn, speaks in the language of the Tasmanian Devil. Blah, 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 blah. Or possibly Donald Duck. Well, never mind that then. It's interesting to think about that Shinra actually, in the history of the game, of course, in the game's fiction, they weren't always, of course, all about Mako, and potentially might not have always been about, you know, well, murdering the planet, raising a private army, committing, like, horrific genetic experiments on people, you know, all the basic shit that Jeff Bezos does, but, like, they had ambitions to actually put someone into space. Like, it's weird how there's not really a non-corporate government, if you want to call it like that. Although, insert your own Final Fantasy VII predicted corporations becoming more powerful than governments commentary here. They're all valid. Note that Sid, by the way, has an AK-47 and a model of that rocket in that room. Ah, Sid. Yeah, Sid's attitudes towards Shera is questionable, shall we say. I do chuckle because, like, Sid's dialogue here reminds me of early game Barrett when he was obviously obligatory in the party and around much more. Which is also something I'll comment on when we get to a later point in the game where Cloud is absent and the team has to pick a leader to fill his place. And it surprises me that it turns out not to be Barrett, given that he was previously a leader of a terrorist group. I think Cher is glitching out there. More than likely. I've still not played the remake because my PS4 is at someone else's house, and thanks to, you know, the world coming to a fucking end, I haven't been able to get it back. So, anyway. If anyone wants to start Wikipediaing the Challenger, you know, shuttle disaster, then feel free to do so. Man, I think Sid's like, you know, like all three of these dudes, like, they've helped make the rocket, but they're also just there really to blow smoke up his ass. Yeah, that insect is still flying in front of my face. I still really wish, like, the remake just kept, like, the, you know, the censored language in here. Where it's all just, like, you know, characters taking out the character map. The Tasmanian Devil language. You know when you wrote that there, Sorry Robot, all I could imagine then was Palmer just floating in space for some reason, and it just brought a great warmth to my heart. But what should be noted here is that, like, Shera doing this to, like, make sure the oxygen tanks work is basically, in some sense, Sid's fault, because he was pressuring us so hard to do that. But as much as Sid's, like, you know, a foul-mouthed bastard, he still actually has a heart. Oh, by the way, do you remember I mentioned before about having a Game Shark? One of the Game Shark codes was to freeze the timer, but the timer is a universal thing. So if you froze it, like, for example, for the Mako reactor escape, and then left it frozen for the rest of the time that you're playing the game, it would break certain sections, like this, for example. I really love, by the way, this, like, television, like, grain filter here. Because it's clearly meant to be footage broadcast elsewhere, and, well, that's it, the rocket's been aborted. Yeah. Oops. Phew. Considering, like, how many rocket launches there have been in history that actually, you know, end with them just getting a little bit off the pad, falling back down and exploding, they got off pretty lightly. And yeah, since this is my long weekend, I am, of course, drinking on stream. Yeah, there's issues with this particular relationship. And of course, he's got to place 4 up on the table. Whenever, like, this line here from Palmer, like, with him coming in, I just really want to imagine there's just studio laughter. Like, when someone enters the set of cheers. I also think the fact that he just keeps lolling back and forth to the side. I like how Palmer only takes offense to the word fat and not anything else that he just said. I'm surprised he doesn't also ask for unleaded petrol to be poured into that tea as well while we're at it. Anyway, let's just go say hi to Palmer, because the last time we saw him from my memory was when he was just gliding away from President Shinra's dead body in Shinra Tower. I'm guessing, you know, all that lard has clogged up his brain so he can't remember. Well, since Sid's left, you know, we might as well steal ourselves an airplane. Oh, oh. I guess not. Ah, here we go. Yeah, I don't get this, because they have, like, boats, like helicopters and all that, so it's a bit weird that he wants the actual plane itself. Like, he crossed the ocean to get to this continent to begin with. And he has an airship, of course, as this, you know, the Highwind, as we'll learn later. I'm guessing Rufus probably doesn't have, like, great, you know, doesn't have great long-range vision there. Oh man, I can't imagine Palmer trying to drive the tiny Bronco. He'd be the one person who could play Microsoft Flight Simulator and cause his own PC to set on fire. Anyway, hi Palmer, can we have the, you know, the plane, please? Ulp. Like, I didn't realise Ulp was a noise, but anyway. So it's time for a boss fight. So, compared to, like, Materia Keeper and Lost Number, Palmer is... well, he's a complete dingbat, but he's also, like, nowhere near as threatening. All of his attacks are single target. He's just not really all that threatening. So let's just murder him with, like, you know... with this summon. Gunglance, by the way, I think is actually a mistranslation of the word Gungear, if I'm not mistaken, which is a ancient lance weapon of legend. It's mentioned actually in the Fate franchise, although it's not the one that Lancer uses. Damn it, Vincent. So we got a free counter there on the Mako gun hit. But that's the thing about Palmer though, like, he proves the old line true that, hey, God created men, but it was Samuel Colt that made him equal. And now for the second best moment in this entire game. Something I just want redone in the remake, as seen here. Ladies, gentlemen, MBs, behold! Will that ever get boring, I ask you? Will Palmer getting hit by a truck ever get old? I doubt it. I mean, I just hope that he got the, you know, how's my driving number from the back end of it after he got, like, you know, cold cocked by it. Well, that's Palmer dealt with. No sign of truck in this little scene here, by the way. It's alright, Vincent's a vampire anyway, he can fly. Nope. I have no idea who's even piloting this, but hey, you know. You can move Cloud around this section, by the way, there's literally no reason to do so. I do like that they took the time, by the way, to, you know, animate Vincent's cape for this. Sage advice there, Sid. Thanks for that, mate. Well, that wasn't so bad, was it? And yeah, that's the one. Thank you for that, Grumpy Cloud. Damn, dude. We'll get him someday, you know. It's on the to-do list. Oh, Barrett. And Vincent doesn't even have a word to say. Yeah, where might we have heard that before? The Ancients. So yeah, we've got the tiny Bronco now. We can class shallow water. So that's neat. The neat thing about the tiny Bronco as well is you can actually go up rivers. So I'm going to depart here. I'm going to save. And that's at the end of the stream for today because I'm only doing a short one. I'll be doing a more full fat kind of, you know, one later in the week on Friday. Where I plan to go to Wutai, and I need to do some preparation for that actually, because Wutai has a very specific boss fight in it that will completely and utterly screw you over if you are not ready for it. And you might think to yourself, hey, but Shad, you've got like all this awesome materia, you've got like enemy skill materia leveled up to the 9s and all that, you're gonna be fine. Like, yeah, that's kind of the problem, isn't it? People who played the game will know what I'm talking about here. But I also want to get some of the other party members leveled up and also do some other stuff off screen that's is needless busy work that would be a bit dry for you to watch. So, anyway, thank you for everyone who stopped by. Say just a little brief side stream here just to show off Rocket Town. We've got Sin Now Party now as well, so I'll be showing him off next time. Hope you all have a very good Tuesday afternoon and evening, wherever you may be. And I will see you next time. Take care.